Greetings from Shiprocket and welcome to Shivik 2020, Day 2. Uh, in the interest for those of who have joined us today for the first time in this 3-day summit, let me very quickly walk you through the agenda of the 3-day summit. So much has been said about the horrific effects of COVID-19 on the economy and on e-commerce in general. With Shiver, we have made an endeavor to get the best voices from the industry straight to our merchants just to understand how to rework, reset, and resume your business in this new normal. So very quickly walking you through this amazing turnout that we had on day one. So highlights from day one are as follows. We had Siddhant Rana join us from Shopify, and he rightly so placed a lot of focus on consumer behavior, change in consumer preferences, and the keyword there being direct to consumer, right? The need for brands to go and create their own identity and to increase in overall defensibility in their business. Also joined us yesterday was Kapil Makhija, who talked about creating the entire digital infrastructure for digital commerce capabilities. It has become more important than ever. Also in day one, we joining us was Akshay Gulati, CBO and co-founder Shiprocket. Akshay very specifically laid importance on omni-channel retail strategy, especially for offline stores having an online presence and vice versa. It's very critical for a business today in the scenario of COVID-19. Also joining us yesterday was Amit Thapyal from Altudo, who stressed upon two things that a brand today needs to focus on. A, drive commerce through experiences, and B, to see each customer as an audience of one, right? So so again, great insights. We also had Nishant Manchanda join us as an e-commerce management consultant who plays special focus on the point that now going e-commerce was not an option for retailers today, right? Who have been operating offline, even they are looking inwards for tapping in that online demand. Great. So let me very quickly, let's very quickly have a look at agenda and rules. The panelists speak, attendees can type in their questions, and I will try my level best to get those answered. Each panelist will introduce the e-commerce solutions that they are working on, 10 minutes each, post which we have a panel discussion here from 4:05 to 4:30 p.m. Right? Post that, I interact with the panelists to answer any of the questions that you might be posing during the session. Also, there was Kurana join us from Digicel, who will be doing a live chat with our from an e-commerce perspective. Okay, so this is a brief sneak peek into our tomorrow session, which is the keynote speaker session, where Akshay will be joining us again, and Sahil Goyal, CEO of our company, along with some renowned speakers, will be addressing the final day. Okay, so let me very quickly introduce the panelists for today, right? So joining us today, we have Nupur Chaturvedi, Country Head of SMBs, PayU India. Also joining us from Zoho Commerce is Ashish Goyal, Product Marketing Manager. Rohan Bhargav, co-founder EarnKaro. Kavish Ahuja, Senior Business Development Manager, Payoneer. We have Divas Khurana, co-founder Digicel. Vinay Medirata, founder Ecom Gurukul. And last but in no measure the least, COO and co-founder of our company Shiprocket, Gautam Kapoor. Welcome all of you. So again, a very gentle reminder to all our attendees, feel free to ask any questions. Okay, so the question is, which of the following is your primary source of demand? Is it social media, shopping carts, marketplaces? Do you run your own website or an offline store? So you have 20 more seconds to answer the question, guys. Okay, so we have the poll results with us. So 38% of our attendees today own their own website, followed by 25% who operate through marketplaces, followed by 22% social media, and shortly followed by offline stores and shopping carts. Okay, great. So moving on, let us now go ahead and to our first presenter, Nupur Chaturvedi. So Nupur is an IIM Lucknow alumnus. She's a product management, sales, and marketing leader with over 18 years of experience across the BFSI and mobility devices industries. As country head of SMBs at PayU, she has an expertise in payment products, product lifecycle management, and consumer finance, among others. So she's catering to the evolving payment and lending needs of the small and medium-sized enterprises. Previously associated with Airtel Payments Bank, Nupur has also served as head for BFSI alliances and GTM strategy at Samsung. Welcome, Nupur. Let's quickly move on to your presentation, sharing the presentation rights with you. There you go.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Megha, for the introduction, and good afternoon to all of you who've joined us. Happy to e-connect with all of you. Next time, when you order a McDonald's pizza or go and pick it up from one of the takeaways, just think of PayU, because we went live with them as the only online payment aggregator all of last week. And we are available with them, and we've been powering their website, mobile site, Android, iOS app, and the works. And you can use all of 100 plus payment methods that PayU offers the next time you're at McDonald's. With that, let me just move forward with my presentation. I'm here to talk about some of the solutions which are available for your businesses. I noticed that a lot of you still have a retail offline presence. We have solutions for you. Those of you who have your own website, we have solutions for you. And I saw social media and marketplaces as well. And we have plugins available for you as well. So across all businesses, but focusing on e-commerce, here's something what PayU and specifically my vertical of small and medium businesses really takes care of. I think those of you who covered the session yesterday heard enough about this, but let me quickly share some more pieces that almost 9 out of 10 consumers have changed their traditional shopping habits. We saw this happening almost 5-6 years back when people started booking flight tickets and railway tickets online. But now the phenomena has actually moved to almost every kind of purchase, which is available, of course, in the lockdown period. And more than 50% of the consumers had shopped online, which they would have otherwise done on store. Clearly, the consumer preferences are changing, which is as per the survey done by NRF. What does that mean for all the small businesses, be it online or offline, is that it is the time to shift online because your consumers are going and changing their behavior too. Even if you're a small retail store, and I'm sure this got covered in the omni-channel discussion yesterday, but just to repeat that what China's experience of opening lockdown has shown is that people are really concerned about both exchanging cash and also using the POS machines because of the risk of getting the virus. And therefore, they are moving on and they are preferring contactless modes like QR, like invoice link solutions, and the works. Also, for e-commerce businesses, you might see the COD requirement and COD demand going down, and people will prefer to make a payment either prepaid at the time of order or at the time of delivery itself. With the consumer shifting, I think it is only relevant that all the businesses shift to. In our endeavor to make it easier for all businesses to integrate and start providing digital payments quickly, we have partnered with ShipRocket Social. I'm sure you would have heard enough about ShipRocket in yesterday's session and today's, but just to quickly state once again, if you're only selling via one channel today, be it an offline store or social media, or if you're using a marketplace to sell your goods, it might be the time for you to make your own e-commerce website. And as you do it, there are plugins available. In fact, you can simply click on the option of integrating a payment gateway, and without much effort, you would realize that all the PayU products will be available on your e-commerce website. So that is a partnership we have gone live with recently, and very happy to share that we're seeing a huge amount of traction. Being a global player, it is but obvious that people are choosing PayU as the primary mode of payment collection. PayU is not just a Naspers fintech arm investing into a number of kinds of fintech companies in the country, but we also have our own organic play, which actually leads and contributes to 60% of PayU's global business. We have solutions across the board and for all kinds of businesses, and they're available irrespective of what kind of solutions are you taking to your customer. To give you more details, let's assume for a minute that you are selling high ticket products like consumer durables or mobile phones. It goes without saying that 33 to 40% of your consumers would want to purchase that on EMIs. So we have EMIs available through all leading credit cards and debit cards, which go along with your integration as you create your business website. Similarly, if you're a logistic player, what you would require is a dynamic QR solution or an invoice solution so that your customers can pay the minute the delivery happens at their doorstep. Similarly, if you are a freelance service provider or a SaaS service provider, we have multiple solutions which help you collect the payment without having to worry about the due date, partial payments, so on and so forth. So for example, our seamless subscription payment option really helps everyone who is creating a Dollar Shave Club of India or creating some solution which calls for a recurring payment from the customer, be it a monthly recurring or an annual recurring. Moving on, if you are selling across borders, and our portfolio has a number of customers who are small boutiques or small goods providers who are selling their goods to Europe and Americas, you can seamlessly avail of our international payment option and start using and collecting monies from customers who are outside of India very, very seamlessly on day zero. And finally, if you have to make bulk payments, whether to your vendors or customers. So for example, if you are a gaming company which makes to fund its customers post the days of gaming, you can seamlessly use our APIs of payouts and with a single click make thousands and lakhs of payments to your customers. Moving on, really this is one solution that we are very proud of, and it has really grown phenomenal in the lockdown period, which is the same day settlement. Now, typically, when your customer pays using a debit card or credit card, you would receive the money only 2 days later. However, basis the transaction which has already happened, we give you the facility of getting access to that cash immediately so that your cash flow requirements are taken care of. You don't have to really wait for 2 days and then initiate any payment that you have to make back to back, but rather you can make that payment 2 days earlier. This some of the testimonials, and we have enough and more price businesses and small and medium businesses which are using us, and not just using us, growing with us. And specifically in the lockdown period, we've seen phenomenal growth in our portfolio, be it the education segment or the enterprise segment. If I were to talk about our biggest customer, which is Flipkart, their transactions which happen in the order of multiple thousands a minute scale, and at the same time, with the smallest of home tutors, with the smallest of home bakers, or people who are going online for the first time, we're able to give access to our app so that within minutes, they can enable themselves and start collecting monies digitally. So after the PayU solution, really, some words of advice on what you can do, whether you are a retail, omni-channel, or e-commerce business today. For us, we really, really believe that every challenge, every situation like COVID uh, gives rise to a lot of opportunities. And those are the opportunities that you can really leverage in today's time and age. First of all, uh, I mean, digital will be the new normal. You should use the time to integrate into digital solutions and create your own digital identity across channels so that in the new normal, which happens after COVID, you're able to thrive and really grow from the base numbers that you're looking at today. This is the moment where digital transformation can really be fast tracked because time is available, solutions are available, and customers are more than inclined to test those digital solutions that you have to offer. At the same time, have your employee base upskill and use the time to make them focus on AI and ML so that in tomorrow's time, your company and your employees are ready to take on every challenge that the world poses, because we are looking at a new normal a few months down the line. And finally, do invest more on leadership and governance so that you do not have to worry about the business not doing well tomorrow, and you are ready for whatever the future holds. So some pieces of advice from me, and with that, really stay safe and go digital. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nupur, for the insights. Preempting change in consumer preferences and how we can really deal with them in a more structured manner. I also have a couple of questions from the audience, if you would like to take them right away.
Sure.
So one of them being, does PayU support international payments?
Of course, we support international payments across 17 currencies. So you're more than covered if you require international payments. We can enable you the minute you onboard with us. It takes around 5 days to a week for enabling the international payments, and you can immediately start doing that.
Thanks. That's helpful. Another question we have is, does PayU provide direct Shopify integration, and how is it better from Razorpay and Cashfree?
Yes, we do provide a number of Shopify payment integration. This comes in our really in our intent of providing PayU plugins across all leading e-com platform providers, which includes ShipRocket, of course, but Shopify, Shopmatic, and Wix, all the big ones are with us. We do provide a single-click login, and specifically on Shopify, we provide a free offer in terms of MDR testing and very, very competitive rates for our customers. Also, there's certain services and products available which are unique to us, including invoicing solutions and subscriptions.
Understood. Thank you so much, Nupur. Moving on to our next partner, ShipRocket Packaging.
Thank you, Megha.
Yeah, thanks. But before that, I would like to raise another poll. Right? Can we have another poll? The next question, please. You can see on your screen, the question is, which function of business are you most struggling with right now, right? Is it shipping? Is it warehousing, marketing, supply, workforce? What is it that you need looking for help with the most? So I have nearly 62% of the vote already with me. Correct. Okay, so poll results are here. No surprise there. Marketing is topping the results, followed by shipping. Good to know. Warehousing and supply is also again a big issue on ground. Everybody knows that today. And workforce again is 12%. All right. Thank you, audience, for putting in the answers to the poll. Now let's move on to our next partner, which is Shiprocket Packaging, and representing the packaging and fulfillment, and representing the same is Gautam Kapoor, COO and co-founder Shiprocket. An ex-SMB himself, Gautam runs logistics operations and end-to-end strategy at Shiprocket. Product of Western International University, Gautam has also worked with renowned German engineering brand Porsche. He began his entrepreneurial journey by also known as Shiprocket, that is being merged into Shiprocket as an e-commerce and omni-channel retail solutions arm. Over to you, Gautam. Let me very quickly share you.
Thank you, Megha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Nupur. It was a pretty insightful presentation that you just gave. Uh, this is a great opportunity for us. Now, at this point of time, we were planning to launch a fulfillment solution right before we entered the COVID time, but now launching it after at this time when we're out of the unlock, we are unlocking our economy now, and people are facing other issues. I think fulfillment is something which is the need of an hour. Also, people who are using Shiprocket have always asked us if we can offer more to them in terms of fulfillment. Can we bring the shipment or bring the order closer to the customer? And I think this is what our endeavor is. So what we are trying to do over here is, so there are largely, if you talk about a good fulfillment solution, there are largely three main areas that one has to focus on. We being a technology first company, and we on the other hand work with courier partners. You all know that what Shiprocket does. So fulfillment is something which is different. Fulfillment requires a lot of warehouse management, a lot of automation, a lot of manpower, automation, operation management, etc., along with our logistics solution. So what we're doing is we're building the technology layer between how to run these operations, fulfillment operations, in a manner where it can be profitable for the seller and also can be really, really fast. So let me take you through some of the challenges why fulfillment becomes important for any direct to consumer company or a direct to consumer brand. So think about it from a seller's perspective. So they normally go and run their warehouses through. They normally have offices and warehouses in the same area. Some of them might invest into a warehouse, which can lead to a higher cost of setting up the warehouse. That's really something which is really expensive. Apart from that, if you're fulfilling your orders from one single warehouse, there is your distance. For example, let's take an example. You have a shipment which is going from Delhi to Pune. Now it will take its sweet 3 to 4 days. But if you're keeping these goods in Bombay, they will move really fast, and the customer can get these goods really faster. So that is something which is very important from a customer satisfaction standpoint. That becomes really, really important. Also, shipping the goods from Delhi to Pune is much more expensive than shipping from Bombay to Pune. So you save a lot of money there, which gets covered up, and you make more margins end of it. Setting up your own warehouse operation is really, really cumbersome. So it is always good to have it outsourced to somebody. The fact is that in the country today, there are several warehouse companies. There are several warehouse and fulfillment companies there, but not one supports sellers who are growing, who have less amount of orders. They will only go and service the large e-commerce companies that you know of. They will not support small sellers because they don't have the technology or the will to do that. Again, setting up, I spoke about it, it takes a lot of time, it's really costly. And also when you have a warehouse being run by somebody else, you end up using different pieces of technology. What we are trying to do is we're trying to build technology or bring the technology that you're using all together to a one integrated platform. So think of it from that is the pain of the seller. Now think it from a buyer's perspective. Buyer wants quick delivery. He wants a credit product inside it. He wants it damage free. That's really important. And again, other things like easy return, low shipping cost, and proactive tracking is always something which they already want. But all the other the one that I showed you on the top, those three are something really important and something which fulfillment really solves for. So I have three areas. We divided what fulfillment will really bring for your brand into three large parts. One is reducing cost and increasing efficiency. So faster intra-city and intra-zone shipping. That's something which, if you're shipping from, say, Bombay and you're shipping to Pune, it is, we spoke about it. It's faster than anybody else, right? You can't ship it from Delhi to Bombay as fast as you can ship it from Bombay to Pune. Now, shipping cost goes down by at least 12 to 20 rupees. That's really important. And again, the biggest problem that we all face, RTO. The biggest factor of RTO is the shipping getting delayed or the time taken for the shipment to reach the customer. If you can shorten that, you can reduce your RTO also. Scalability of a business requirement. So when you partner with a warehouse partner or a fulfillment partner like this, you don't have to worry that, okay, you have a space for maybe a Diwali sale or a Rakhi sale or not. You can just instruct your partner that you need more capacity and he'll be ready in few days. So that is something which is important. The second biggest issue that we all face is weight issues. A lot of disconnect between the courier company, the selling entity, the courier partner, and us creates a lot of commotion in the market. Now, this what it does is, because we are packaging goods, we are putting all the infrastructure in place to measure the goods properly. We take the whole onus of that the shipment weight will be as is, and you will not be charged more than what we have packed it for. Second, the most important thing actually for me is increasing the customer satisfaction. Oh, we all go and buy from Amazon, right? Even if you own a store of our own, we all go and buy from Amazon. The biggest reason why we buy it from Amazon is we know that it's fast, right? You order something, it comes to you in day one or day two after you place the order. That is the experience that we want to bring to our D2C customers. That is the number one reason why we've launched fulfillment. Uh, Same day and next day delivery is something we are working on, and we'll build the capacity around it. Again, packaging we spoke about, also processing the orders in an error-free format is something that is specialized into the technology or the WMS that we are building in this. Again, flexible fulfillment models. Again, I think it makes absolute sense for anybody to go and partner with a warehousing or a fulfillment company. And I'm not saying us only, but anybody, because you don't have to invest into a large capacity. You don't have to do a capital expenditure. You can just go and do an order level pricing with the customer and start shipping or start fulfilling the orders with them. Onboarding is absolutely quick, can manage spikes like Diwali, etc. One platform for orders, inventory, catalog, everything, all in one, right? That is something which is really valuable. Again, this is just to repeat all what we said. Again, I'm coming back to the same thing. If the customer gets the shipment fast, that is the biggest value that you can deliver as a seller to your customers. This is something very interesting. We intend to launch a lot of products around our sellers' needs as we try and understand them. Packaging was something which was very important. We launched it yesterday, right? Megha, I think we just launched
Yes.
yesterday.
Yes, we did.
And this is something which is super new for us. We are helping do this in a lot of ways. In a way that we're buying a lot of this inventory and reducing cost upfront for our buyers. So we commit our volume, so you get you get your the product far cheaper, or the packaging material far cheaper than you would go and buy at a smaller quantity. That is the one largest value prop. The second value prop that we're trying to solve with this is, how can we use packaging that we have sourced for you to reduce your weight capacity? So we have built a very interesting piece of technology. We'll be launching it very soon, where you can map your SKUs in different logics back to a packaging or a particular packaging. So if you're selling a piece of sari, for example, and it will go in a package or a flyer packet number 3, then you can map it, and every time you ship it, you put it into the packet 3, and we know that it's going in packet 3, so that the courier company we cannot charge us extra weight for that. And we know that we've discussed with the courier company that packet 3 means 500 gram, it means 500 gram, but not more than that. So all that value prop through the packaging, I think really excited about both packaging and fulfillment. I think we'll be able to deliver a lot of value for our customers and solve for a lot of those problems that sellers face today, even with us. And this is something which is really valuable for, I think, for our sellers, for the industry, and for obviously ShipMarket. That's all from me. I think I hope I was in time. Uh,
Yes, you were, Gautam. Thank you for the insights. So this is great. Good to know, that we are kind of in the D2C space trying to meet the expectations of the buyer, which is next day, same day delivery. So totally excited for this. So there are a couple of questions from the audience that I would like to pose. One of them being, post-COVID, e-commerce businesses have actually seen prepaid ratio getting down instead of booming positively. Can you confirm the same?
Yeah, it is not that on our platform. The COD percentage on our platform has gone down. It's gone down by in percentage, and people are ordering more prepaid orders. Now, this can be by virtue of sellers not giving a COD option, and or customers preferring COD or customer preferring prepaid orders. I believe, and I've spoken to the experts in the industry, prepaid has gone up for sure. And even if the seller is providing the capability of COD, people are opting for prepaid.
Understood. And it echoes the sentiment around contactless payments and delivery. So that kind of, yeah. Sure. Okay. So another question for you. Sorry.
No, I think I don't want to touch money anymore.
Correct. Exactly. Okay. So if a Flipkart seller wants to stock his items in your warehouse, is that a possibility?
It will be a possibility very soon. We are piloting a few things with our partners, even large marketplaces who want to use our facility to enable their sellers to be able to ship orders. I think eventually when fulfillment is available in its full capacity, all major channels will be covered under it. That means if you have an order from Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, doesn't matter. All these orders can be processed from one warehouse, and all the inventory is managed in one location.
Yeah, good to know. Yeah. Does Shiprocket provide a marketplace or market platform to sell the products through Shiprocket fulfillment?
We don't help you sell it. Now, if the question was, if the question was something else, that means that they said that, okay, they're selling on Flipkart and Amazon. Can they use fulfillment as a solution to be able to ship those orders which they're getting from Amazon and Flipkart? Yes, you will be very soon.
Yeah.
All of them.
So I think the question here is whether we provide a demand channel for the orders being stored. So we are kind of helping post sale, right?
But you can absolutely use a social platform. You can use Shiprocket Social to develop your own small little page where you can have your customers come in and order. But it's not a demand channel. I would not call it a demand channel. I will call it a tool for you to develop a small page of your own.
Works. Thank you so much, Gautam. Thanks for your time. Moving on to our next partner, Zoho. We today have Ashish Goyal from Zoho Commerce. Ashish leads the product marketing initiatives for Zoho Commerce globally. Before Zoho, Ashish built the digital and growth channels in the software and IT space. His experience ranges from travel and e-commerce products to IT services, which allows him to adopt a multifaceted approach to building sustainable and resilient businesses. Hi Ashish, welcome to the Shivir Day 2. Let me quickly make you the presenter so that you can walk us through the presentation.
Great, thank you so much. So hello everyone, and thank you for the introduction to Megha. But so as everyone can see, the lockdown has not been kind to me. That photograph is not more than 6 months old, so that's weird. But thank God we have much more. We have great-looking people coming on. I think Vinay is next. He is going to blow you away. Great. So I'm very sort of surprised by the polls which you just ran, Megha. I saw that 47% of the sellers today, which are here today with us, are not selling. They don't have their own website, right? And 34% of the entire cohort again is struggling with marketing. So you see the connection here, right?
Yeah.
So when you're selling on marketplaces, when you don't have your own website, or you're selling on social, you don't have control over the people or your customers, right? You don't really know who's buying from you, and so that's essentially what I'm going to talk about. Of course, with all the talk of disruption, we cannot lose focus on the very basics. That is true for marketing. That is also true for e-commerce. Your basic entity here is your customer. Right? For me, for Zoho, it is you, the seller, and for the seller, it's the actual buyer, the customer, right? So with COVID-19, with the entire disruption, that basic doesn't change. What changes is the speed at which things are happening and how things are happening. Everything. So the buyers or the sellers themselves will need to accelerate everything, right? You're talking about. So in my opinion, in my personal opinion, the rewards for actually taking action right now, actually going out and doing, setting up your own website or doing any other action, integrating with ShipRocket as actually doing faster shipping, as Gautam also covered, is the crux here, right? So that will change everything, right? So what I am talking about today is Zoho Commerce. The idea is, by the way, you can find us at zoho.com/commerce. Zoho is, I mean, also, if you haven't heard of Zoho, by the way, it's a pretty big entity based out of India. We are in Chennai mostly. We have lots of offices, but the headquarters are here in Chennai. We have 45 plus business applications. We have been in the industry of technology and software for more than 20 years. We have a global presence. We have 50 million plus users. Large set of 8,000 employees, most of who are developers and creators. They create software, and we have a connected ecosystem, right? So that's what we thrive on. So the central idea for me is the customer, right? So what should you as an e-commerce seller focus on? Should you focus on complicated technology, or should you focus on growing your business, right? So fundamental idea being that you don't want to be stagnant, you want to continue to grow, right? Now this is the chart of focus that I want to bring your focus on. Here, on this platform or Shivit today, and also when people like me who are essentially marketers, and when we talk to you, we talk about the technology aspect, which is the outermost circle, as you can see, right? It's the shiniest, brightest, colorful circle that you see here. So we'll talk about shipping integrations, payment integrations, as marketing, social media, paid marketing, where a lot of us are struggling, as I see from the polls, right? But at the end of the day, this is all technology problems to solve, right? Similarly, when you're looking at operations in the inner circle, you're looking at what product should you sell, what price you should have at, what's the brand loyalty, are people purchasing again, and all of that. That's the operation side of it. The core focus should always be on growth, right? So growth will mean, are you selling on all the channels, right? So it's not just selling on marketplaces or selling just on social, it's about selling everywhere. Why don't you have a website yet, right? Is it the technology? Because I can guarantee that we have the tech. I'm not the only player in the market. You have probably already spoken to Shopify yesterday, so you already know that they exist, right? Also, from Amit's presentation yesterday, my takeaway was personalization, right? We're talking about a customer as an audience of one, right? So your customer has to be your core focus, as we have been saying. And then, the problem of revenue. So all these disruptions we are seeing, some people's revenues are going up, some people are not able to deliver, the revenues are going down. So focus on that. Leave the technology to people like us, right? And that's where my product sort of fits in. So the logos you see around this is all of Zoho products. So as I said, Zoho is a ecosystem of 45 plus applications. You can run your entire business on it, right? So we have CRM, we have payments, we have so many applications. So if you haven't heard of Zoho, by the way, I mean, this is probably a great day, because go ahead, check them out. You will be completely blown away by the pricing, by the kind of services we have, kind of products we have, right? So the core product that I am talking about today is Zoho Commerce, which is essentially an online store builder. It's not just a website builder. It is a complete end-to-end e-commerce platform where there is there's order management, there is inventory management, and everything else, right? It comes with shipping integrations. That's where we have integrated with ShipRocket, and that works perfectly. Lots of payment gateways integrated as well. Now, the other aspect of this is, if you're just starting out, right? So lots of people, almost half of the people attending today are not actually, they don't have a website, right? So the idea here is, go ahead, create a website. We are running a program right now at Zoho Commerce, which is start your website or go online in 60 minutes flat, or 60 minutes and under, to be honest, right? So what's stopping you? If something is stopping you, it's just you, right? Technology has really reached a situation where you can go online in 60 minutes, right? So don't wait, right? And as you scale, right? So you have, so for example, ShipRocket has tons of things, as tons of options for you to sort of scale as you go, right? You can, Gautam just talked about having your own, you can ship, you can package, you can do everything, right? Fulfill using their solutions. So similarly, you can scale with Zoho as well, right? You can have one payment gateway to start with, then go with multiple inventory. So we have Zoho Inventory, which is a complete inventory management software, which works with multiple channels. All of that. You have a complete solution called Books, which will do the complete invoicing. Everything's automated. We have Zoho Social. We have Zoho Survey. We have campaigns, which are all marketing, tools. So anything you need on e-commerce, we probably have a solution for it, right? So yeah, the final essential reason, why I would like to sort of submit that, give commerce a try, is there is that Zoho guarantee I talked about. We are a 25-year-old technology company. We have been in this a really long time. You will be blown away by the pricing. Have a look at that. And as I just said, seamless integrations and pricing plans as you wish to scale. Right. That is all from me. The image that you see here in front of you is essentially the entire suite of our applications. So right from Office suites to email, collaboration, you can build your own custom solutions. You can run your IT, your help desk, of course, sales and marketing, the CRM, that's our core solution, and your entire finance suite. You can get on this. So yeah, I think that's where I am.
Yeah.
Megha, are there any questions for me?
I not as of now, Ashish. I think as we go along, I am going to get more questions around here. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation. The chart of focus is my copy paste from this slide. That's very beautifully summarized way of putting it. Of where the key focus of a business should be, and how the external noise in terms of the technology can be taken care of, platforms like Zoho Commerce. Yeah, beautifully put.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving ahead, hi, I'm going to very quickly now run another survey to the audience. So the question is, from a digital marketing perspective, tell us what would you like to learn more? Is it social media optimization, email marketing, Google Ads, influencer marketing, SEO, or something else that we're probably missing? Can go in the chat section. Okay, the poll results are out. Social media optimization is highest, 42%, followed by SEO, which is 21%, and very closely followed by Google Ads and influencer marketing. Thank you so much for the insights. Next up is Ecom Gurukul. I have Vinay Mendirata, founder of Ecom Gurukul, a learning platform with a vision to empower 100,000 entrepreneurs to launch and run a profitable e-commerce business. He's worked for 18 years with companies like Yahoo, Vodafone, Airtel, and Sony, post which Vinay went ahead and founded his company called Ubingo. And he has collected the experience of his own startup and is now on a mission to empower entrepreneurs to start and run a profitable e-commerce business. Welcome, Vinay. Giving you the presentation right here to walk us through your presentation.
Thank you so much, Megha, for the kind introduction, and Ashish for your kind words as well, and ShipRocket for giving me this opportunity to present my thoughts today. And the biggest thank is to all the attendees who have actually chosen to be present today it's a Sunday afternoon. They could actually, you could be doing many other things. Thank you so much for being present today and giving us the opportunity to actually share our thoughts with you. As Megha had given a quick introduction, my name is Vinay Mediratta. I'm the founder of Ecom Gurukul. I'm on a mission to empower 100,000 entrepreneurs to start and run profitable e-commerce business. It's a big mission that I have set for myself. And honestly, my condition is actually, like this child over here who has this big goal in front of, and that's the only thing that I have. And I personally believe that this is the most important thing for anybody, setting goals, and then there are ways in which those goals can be achieved. Now, a quick basically walkthrough of my learning journey. I had my formal education with Khalsa College and then Symbiosis Institute of Telecom Management. Then for almost 18 years, I was actually working with various organizations in the marketing function, some of the well-known brands in the industry. And then, towards the end of the 18 year, I somehow had this kida of actually, starting my own business. And that's how I actually got into the entrepreneurship. It was long set of discussions that, I had as to, what to start. And then I finally actually decided that I'll start an e-commerce venture. And within the e-commerce venture, I chose to basically be there in a print-on-demand space. And that's how actually Ubingo was born. And then, when I started, I had a lot of ups and downs. There are a lot of things that I really actually experimented with, failed big times, and then then started from the beginning all over again. And during the course, I realized that I'm not alone who's actually maybe going through this journey. There are other entrepreneurs, and I know a lot of my friends who actually keep on saying that I want to start my own business, but they never get the courage to actually start the business because somehow the process is somehow not completely known, right? So those are all the experiences that I had as an entrepreneur. And then recently actually we actually expanded and also started a division to offer print on demand drop shipping to our basically clients. That's the Printship brand. Now, as I shared with you, I had many ups and downs and many big failures. I had to start all over again. I have basically, got a sense of, what works, what doesn't work. I can't say that, I'm expert in everything. I'm still learning a lot. And in my learning journey, I'm in the process of now actually founding Ecom Gurukul with the mission to empower 100,000 entrepreneurs to start and run profitable e-commerce business. In the next phase of my learning, I don't know, when I'll get is basically, looking inwards in terms of, finding the solutions inside. Now, what I'm actually sharing with you is, a quick piece of content that is actually, the building block of any, not just the e-commerce business, but for any business, and more specifically, for the e-commerce business. The first building block is basically the customer. A lot of us actually in terms of the entrepreneurs, we actually start by looking at the products that we want to sell. And to a certain extent, I also made that mistake. But my invitation to all of you is to basically even if you are actually you've identified what products you are selling, identify who you want to serve and go with the attitude to serve first. And there are clear distinctive advantages of actually doing that. Number one being that when you identify who you want to serve, then they are not just looking for one way of getting a solution. Your product, the initial product that you want to sell may be just one of the many things that you actually can offer to them. And once you identify your customers, you can actually create multiple sources of income. Now, once you've identified who you want to serve, then you can actually discover many ways to serve, which could be in the form of products, services, affiliate products, print-on-demand products, information products, and community. And to the same set of customers, you can actually offer various ways to solve their problem. The next important building block in terms of specifically the e-commerce businesses that how do you really actually get the capability to read the minds And because we are actually in a digital kind of a space, it's easier than actually they're in a, more brick and mortar kind of a word, which is basically in terms of keywords, right? How do you actually really develop the capability to learn what people are using to discover the solutions that you want to offer to them? And that's basically one of the another key building blocks that is there for the e-commerce success. And then once you have actually identified what you want to offer, who do you want to offer, and have got a sense of what they are actually what solution people are looking and how they will discover that, having very good set of impactful images. And there are three distinct types of images which are there. Basically just the product images, typically in a marketplace, the first image which is basically with the white background. Then there are infographic images and the lifestyle images which actually bring alive the proposition of your product for the customer, and images that tell the story. So it's important to actually learn the art of actually having the good set of images for your product. And then another important building block is the listing. My view on the listing is this, that when we actually open a shop, physical shop, we invest a lot in terms of decorating it, in terms of hiring and training the best of the people. And your listing should be exactly like that. Your listing should be your best salesperson, because that's a salesperson who's actually working for you 24/7, answering the queries of the customer. So basically develop the capability to actually create listing which goes with the intention to serve the customer and answer their question, and train them like your best salesperson. And then another building block is basically once you identified who you want to serve and how you will list, as especially as a startup, people don't really actually trust you, and therefore like Ashish also said, be present everywhere, sell everywhere. Those who are just selling through their own website, suppose you did not have your own website, look at the places from where you would have bought the product that you are actually selling, right? Your customers are also there. So build strategic presence across the marketplaces, having your own website, other places on social media, and actually basically be present everywhere your customer is actually present. Now these are I have briefly touched upon 6 building blocks. There are many things which are actually required to run a profitable e-commerce business. This is just to give you a glimpse. I'm in the process of actually introducing Ecom Gurukul, launching that, which is an e-commerce learning platform with with basically 2 key things over there. It's not just about the skill sets. 80% of the success actually depends on what's going on in your mind, right? So we will have this platform as a platform to develop mindset, acquire skill sets. There are some very unique things which actually we will actually build as part of this e-learning platform. While there will be a lot of pre-recorded sessions that you can actually go through at your own pace, there will be weekly calls, there will be hackathons. The objective is to actually I actually learn to become the chief everything officer, and that is what I would like you to basically those who are actually keen to become chief everything officer, to basically empower you to do things on yourself, and hackathons will play a very important role over there. And then there will be awards which will be there.
Thanks, so this is interesting. Yeah.
Just 1 minute. So the methodology will be actually learn from the mentors, which is basically what I've talked about. Learn from experts. We will have the guest lectures, including from some of the panelists which are actually over here. Learn yourself and learn from each other. And this is the last slide. My invitation to you is to join the community, learn and share. Do visit ecom.win/Shiver2020. Because I am actually conducting a masterclass, and you can register for that free masterclass and be present over there to know more about these details. That's all from me, Megha. I'm sorry, I think I've taken a little bit of extra time.
That's all right. Thanks, Vinay, for the kind invitation to our audience for the free session. My key takeaway from the presentation was around listening. Me also being in the customer delight part of Shiprocket, it's very important to kind of listen to what your customers' needs are and work on it. So great insight there. All right, so moving on, before we move on to our next speaker, I would like to ask you guys another question. Okay, so launching another poll here, and the question is, does your business participate in cross-border trade, that is international transactions? It could be only import, only export, export and import, and no strictly operating within India. Okay, so we have the poll results with us. Okay, so 65% of our attendees today are Atmanirbhar. They buy and sell within the country, and 17% of them are exporting, not importing. 12% are importing only. Okay, so that is a good insight from the perspective of the next speaker. Let me very quickly. Yeah, okay. So our pata number 5 is Payoneer, and representing Payoneer today, I have Kavish Ahuja, Senior BD Manager, Payoneer. Key parts of Payoneer's business development team in India. He has a passion for growing e-commerce, payments, and financial services to create value for Indian e-com sellers selling globally. Kavish works with thousands of e-commerce SMEs to streamline their cross-border payments processes and help them build a global business. Over to you, Kavish.
Sure. So thank you so much, Megha, to set context. My name is Kavish. I am a part of the Payoneer team, and I have been with Payoneer since their inception in India. So I work with e-commerce sellers, who can be both Amazon, Shopify, etc., who sell cross-border. And Payoneer basically helps sellers of all shapes and sizes across the globe to accept payments in their local bank account. So I'll give a quick background about Payoneer, and I would be keen to talk about how Payoneer is helping Indian sellers go global and how do we help them accept payments in their local bank. So basically, Payoneer is a cross-border payment solution. We are headquartered in the US. We roughly work with 2 million customers across the globe, and we work with 2,000 plus marketplaces and 100 plus currencies, and we allow SMEs. So we help SMEs of all shapes and sizes to accept international payments. So talking about Payoneer of how we basically work with marketplaces. So we are basically in both sides of the transaction. We enable marketplaces to pay sellers across the globe, service providers across the globe. We help service providers as well as sellers accept payments from marketplaces as well as direct customers. So we work with all these marketplaces in the freelance space, which are Fiverr, Upwork, Udemy, etc. For content, we work with Adobe. In respect to the audience today, we work with all e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon, Rakuten, Lazada, Shopee, Cdiscount, Wish, etc., Walmart. So we help these marketplaces pay to the seller across the globe. Say, for example, you are an Amazon seller in India, or you sell on Amazon US or UK. You could accept your payments from Amazon in your local bank account using Payoneer as a payout solution. While for vacation rental, we work with Airbnb, HomeAway, Digital, and Affiliate as follows. So what do we do as a product? So for any SME in India, a Payoneer account enables them to integrate their account with directly with marketplaces like Amazon, Lazada, Cdiscount. With Payoneer, the unique offering is that with Payoneer, you get a virtual receiving account in US, UK, Europe, Australia. So you get basically a virtual collection account in 8 to 9 different geographies. So your clients can make a local bank transfer in any of these accounts, and you could accept the payment in your local account directly. For example, you have a client in the US, which is a company who wants to pay you, for example, $10,000. So you could share the Payoneer US virtual account with them, and they could make a local bank transfer in that account. And post that, our platform takes care of transferring those funds to your Indian account, either in local INR or in the foreign currency as well. If you want to accept payments from customers directly using a credit or a debit card, you could send your customers a unique sign-up link from the Payoneer account, and they could pay you using their local credit and debit card. This feature especially is very popular amongst sellers who work with direct customers, who export to customers directly. And you could also accept payments via e-check. This thing is very unique to the US. In US, we have something called as electronic check. So the customers in the US could pay you using an electronic check. Last but not the least, if you are working with a payment gateway, for example, you work with 2Checkout or you work with Stripe in the US, you could also connect the same Payoneer account to any of these payment gateways and accept your payments in your local Indian bank. So what are the benefits of the platform? Just before I jump into the platform of how we basically help a SME seller, in my professional experience so far at Payoneer, sellers in India basically struggle a lot when they want to accept international payments. There is limited clarity on how they could accept international payments. They have issues around compliance, FIRC, VAT, etc. So with Payoneer, we solve all of them. Of what I covered in the previous slide was of what we do as a product. So additionally, Payoneer also offers value-added services which are like FIRC and paying VAT. So let's take a use case. You are an Amazon seller or you are a marketplace seller on Amazon UK and Amazon Germany, and you want to pay VAT in those geographies. VAT is a compulsory thing for sellers in UK and EU. So you could pay your VAT directly using the Payoneer account. So that's something that is unique and that's localized as per the market. The foreign inward remittance certificate is a big pain point for Indian exporters right now. So when you export out outside India, you need to get a FIRC certificate for every pay-in that comes into India locally. So with Payoneer, you get the FIRC document locally after every payout that comes in, either from direct customers or from Amazon. When you talk about fee, we do not charge any upfront cost, bank transfer, withdrawal fee. We only charge a flat currency conversion rate. And the process to get started on the platform is very simple. You can immediately sign up on Payoneer and you can start accepting payments ASAP. The platform is very transparent in the way it works. Right from the moment the marketplace or your client anywhere in the world makes your transfer, you can track the entire journey of the payment from the moment it is paid to the point it is sent to your local bank. If you are already not using Payoneer for your cross-border business, you can sign up from the link directly. It's a very simple and a straightforward process to get started. And additionally, just to add, before I end the session, with Payoneer, we have a very strong network of partners like ShipRocket, etc., who help you grow your business globally. So we are not just a payments platform, but basically a complete ecosystem in itself that allows you to grow your business. So we help you. It's not just with when you start with Payoneer. If you are stuck in something like VAT, if you are stuck in something around logistics, if you want to get started with something around say, for example, how to run your ads on Amazon, if you want to get started on Shopify. So Payoneer works with all these partners to help you grow your overall business. And you can reach out to me if there is anything around Payoneer, and happy to help and happy to connect with all of you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Kavish, to walk us through your presentation. Okay, moving back to mine. Next up, we have partner number 6, Earnkaro, and representing Earnkaro today, we have Rohan Bhargav, co-founder, Cashkaro, Earnkaro. So Cashkaro's co-founder, Rohan Bhargav, is among India's most celebrated entrepreneurs and on the 2019 coveted Fortune 40 Under 40 list. He heads the strategic product development and innovation and the digital marketing wing as well, leading the team of experts to ensure that Cashkaro continues to maintain its position as the category leader in the cashback space. Hi, Rohan. Welcome to Shivir. Again, sharing presentation rights to you very quickly. There you go.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction, Megha. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, ShipRocket, for inviting me. There was a poll that was done some time back, and one of the key concerns that a lot of you had was marketing. I think it's fundamentally a challenge, not just for SMB, but for an Amazon, Flipkart. I think any company is fundamentally always worried about marketing. Not just marketing, it's about how do you make marketing ROI centric, how do you make it profitable, and obviously there are lots of different marketing options. At Cashkro, Earnkro, we've been fundamentally solving that problem for the last 6 years. When we look at what we're doing today, we are the cheapest source of transactions, even for the biggies like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and we're doing it with the concept of affiliate marketing. So a quick introduction about Cashkro. We're India's largest affiliate marketing platform. We're backed by Kalari Capital and Ratan Tata. We have 5 million registered users currently. Our target for this, the next 15 months is extremely aggressive. We feel that there is a huge digitization frenzy that is starting to happen post-COVID, and we want to really capitalize on that. So our target is, to grow to a base of 20 million users. A quick introduction on what is affiliate marketing for those who may not know. The idea was pioneered by Amazon a good 20-25 years back. The idea is that the e-commerce company pays a partner a marketing fee only if they drive a sale to them, right? So if you think about all the marketing channels that you have, whether it's Google, Facebook, print, radio, etc., none of them you pay for all of them upfront, right? Or you pay per click, right? But you're not paying per transaction. And that is where affiliate marketing is the true performance marketing model, because you only pay for actual transaction, right? So for example, Cashkro has 5 million users, and let's say we partner with the various companies that are here, and we send emails on your behalf. If nothing happens, if there's no transaction that we drive, you don't pay us a penny, right? And obviously, if we are able to drive lots of sales, there is a certain revenue from what your revenue is that you share with us, and that's the fee, right? So it's a 100% win-win model, and which is why it works, right? Which is why companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, etc., are investing extremely extensively on the affiliate marketing side. We drive about 1,500 crores of sales to our retail partners each year. And marketing channels that we have for you include our website, email, SMS, influencer marketing, so on and so forth. So that's a little bit about Cashkro. Earnkro is a method to monetize your social network, right? So if you think about your own situation, right? I'm sure there is a time when someone has messaged you in your WhatsApp group or your Facebook group and said, hey, you know what, where do I buy this product? And many a times you've actually gone to Amazon or Flipkart or any e-commerce site, copied the link and shared it with your friends and family over WhatsApp. Now you don't make any money doing that, right? What Earnkro does is allows you to monetize that, right? So you can now take any e-commerce link from our partners, copy that onto Earnkro. That generates your own profit link, as we call it. You now share that link with your friends and family. When they click on this link, they automatically get redirected to the e-commerce site. I earn money and the other person gets the product. So it is a way of monetizing your social network. So at Earnkro, in the last 1 year, we have built this massive network of deal channels, WhatsApp groups, housewives, students, Facebook pages, blogs, etc. The current network reaches out to over 20 million people. Again, the model is 100% performance-based. So, when our influencers and Earnkro users are sharing deals, they only get a profit when a sale happens. So that's the beauty of the product. So there are two products, Earnkro and Cashkro. The next slide just talks about a typical journey of how Earnkro works. So on Earnkro, one of our deal partners or reselling partners will come on. They either find products that we have curated across our e-commerce partners, or they can go to any e-commerce site and take the link. They then make their own profit link, and they distribute it across WhatsApp, social, Facebook, etc. When a transaction happens, I, as the reseller, earn profit. The other person gets the product at whatever is the best rate out there. So that's a very simple journey of how Earnkro works. In the next slide, we just talk about the kind of people. So Earnkro, Cashkro, I think it can service a large number of people who are at this event. So I'll break it down in terms of how e-commerce companies can benefit and how a reseller who's sharing through Facebook or WhatsApp can benefit. So obviously for an e-commerce company, you can partner with us. There is no listing fee. You come on board. Now all the people who come to our website directly or who are looking for a product similar to yours can find the products. So we're effectively sending traffic to you. As I said, it's 100% performance based. So if we send you lots of traffic and none of it converts, you get great remarketing audiences. You don't have to pay us anything. So it's really a win-win. And in order to get things started and to completely sort of minimize integration costs, we can start on a simple coupon model. The minute you get listed with us, you get access to both Cashpro and EarnPro. So it's a very large distribution network you start with. For a lot of resellers who are, obviously buying and selling, and you probably have your own distribution network, you can use EarnPro. You can sign up for free, and you can now leverage the entire e-commerce base and sell those products to your audience. So I'll give you a simple example. There's a very popular FMCG brand called Mamaearth. It's one of the most popular brands on Amazon. They also have their own e-commerce site. Now, for anyone who sells a Mamaearth product through EarnPro, we give you a flat 15% profit share. So if you're selling a 1,000 rupee product, you're earning 150 rupees. We also have special coupon codes. So when you share this Mamaearth product, you can actually tell your audience that, hey, you know what, here is a special coupon code which allows you to save, let's say 15%, 20%. So they get that coupon discount, but you earn, let's say 100 rupees, 150 rupees on every transaction. The average profit is about 7%. And, because we have, at least the sort of top 500 e-commerce sites with us, it gives you this massive inventory to possibly sell to your audiences. So that's a quick introduction about Cashpro and EarnPro. Happy to take any questions. If you guys would like to come on board, I'm sure someone at ShipRocket can actually share the email, but it's otherwise just partnerships@cashpro.com.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Rohan. We're running late, but quickly, if we can answer one of the questions from the audience here. So the question goes, can EarnPro help reseller to market products on social media, like WhatsApp, to sell our products through affiliate marketing?
I think we absolutely can. If you think about it, the mechanism is very simple, right? It is effectively a product link. I'm sure we can find a way to build in tracking parameters into that link. So whether you're selling on Facebook or other channels, we haven't done that before because most of our partners are e-commerce companies. But we've got a really good tech team, and I'm sure there is a way that we can build in the tracking parameters into that. So let's say if you're looking to sell a particular product, we take that link. Our users can then distribute this through their network, which then comes back to your selling page, or it could even go back to the payment gateway page itself. So I'm sure there are solutions we can work out.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rohan, for this insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a panel discussion. But before that, again, a very small question to my audience, and I'm launching another poll. So what I'm asking here really is, how many full-time employees does your business have? Just want to have a idea of what business size are attendees currently operating on. Is it 1, 2 to 10, 11 to 50, 100 or less, 100 or more? Okay, so we have the poll results, and interestingly, 62% of the attendees have 2 to 10 employees. Okay, that's pretty close to what I was preempting. Anyways, moving ahead, directing my questions towards panelists now. Request you to briefly answer in 2 to 3 minutes, right? So let me first begin. My first question is to Gautam Kapoor. Hi, Gautam. So we are at Unlock 1.0 and Lockdown 4.0, right? A lot has happened post COVID-19. From the blue collar workers fleeing to their hometowns to all the negative sentiment around, community transmissions and merchants are reluctant to go back to work, physical warehouses, and since 70% of Shiprocket's current merchant base is SMEs, how do you think is Shiprocket helping SMEs in dealing with the current situation on ground?
So Megha, obviously we all are in tough times, right? And we understand that.
Yeah.
On one side, we've all seen e-commerce growing, customers coming back and ordering more than they've ever actually ordered before, or changes in customer behavior, and a lot of people spoke about it in their presentations. Now, I think the biggest challenge is, as you rightly mentioned, that there's a challenge in manpower. There's a challenge in changing times, because now everything is so it's changing by the day, right? You have a containment zone one day, and then another zone becomes containment. So you don't know if your own warehouse or your shop or where you're working from becomes a containment zone, and if your employees will ever come back, or when will they come back. And again, we've been through other issues also, where even if your employees wanted to work, they can't reach the office or reach the warehouse. I think that's why I said it in my presentation regarding fulfillment. I think fulfillment is an important aspect of it. Takes away a lot of this headache. Also, the fulfillment partners that we work with have the capacity to deal with such dynamic situations, and dynamic workforce not being available. Okay, they will also face those challenges, but they have the capacity of having extra people, extra place to work, so they can move inventory to a different location and start processing orders from there. So it makes the life much more easier. From an overall perspective, I think manpower is still a challenge. Ground reality is still a challenge, where some locations are changing. Containment zones are changing day by day. Orange, green, red zones are changing day by day. So a lot of shipments, this is a lot of hardship our sellers and us are facing today, is because something which went out when it was open, now it is stuck because it's closed, and the shipments are now somewhere in the transit because that particular center is shut, or they don't have people in that location sector, or there was one COVID case in that locality or a location, and then those set of warehouses or set of shops in and around were closed. So all those challenges are coming up, but I think that is one challenge that will eventually come through with time, get over with. Can you hear me, Megha? Can everybody?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So my key takeaway from this is that while the challenge exists, obviously, Shiprocket fulfillment are helping us deal with it in a structured manner, and obviously with proper safety standards in place. B, also from as a merchant, I need to be communicating with my buyers better as to what the current situation is, in order to not lose on that customer satisfaction bit as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Moving on to Nupur, next question is to you. The COVID-19 crisis has led to increased adoption of contactless payments, and we have talked at length about that in your presentation. Now, what is the impact of what kind of new businesses are you seeing this traction from? Is there any trend or any demographic wise insight that you would like to throw some light on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question, Megha. I did talk about the increase in contactless payments, and interestingly, not just on the educated smartphone wielding population, we're seeing increase in contactless payments even in AEPS, for example, which has overtaken debit card transactions last month. But some of the segments where we see the growth to be above par compared to other segments include entertainment. Not surprisingly, so all of us sitting at home are consuming a lot more OTT content, but also the gaming apps are certainly more popular, and we see the youngsters really getting hooked onto that. The other segment where we're seeing a huge growth is edutech. Not just the established players like Byju's, Coursera's, Udemy's of the world, but also for home tuition, school education, everyone's going online and everyone's paying online. So that is one sector which has been exploding. A third sector is e-commerce for essentials. We've seen that the basket size for pharma companies, for essential services like groceries at home, has suddenly doubled or tripled from the regular consumption pattern. So that is the third sector. And finally, the most interesting one personally for me has been the large format retailers. I was sharing this with my team that every few hours I get one SMS or the other with Hamley going online, Meena Bazaar going online, Body Shop going online. All the large format retailers are in a hurry suddenly to establish their online presence and start taking order and fulfilling deliveries online. So that is a segment which will see inordinate explosion in the coming times.
Yeah.
So these are the 4 prime sectors where I see a huge traction.
Yeah, this primarily validates the point that Akshay raised yesterday in the meeting regarding defensibility that the businesses now looking for in terms of omni-channel strategy of these offline players who were earlier a little had an inertia to go online and are now looking inwards for a better strategy. Okay, makes sense. My next question is to Kavish. Kavish, is global market still a value proposition for domestic merchants now, given the pandemic? When do you think, and also when do you think the industry will recover from the impact of COVID-19? And what will be some of these new emerging trends, if you could, tell us more about this?
Sure. I mean, in the last few months, what we consider normal has totally changed. That applies to e-commerce sellers as well. The consumers across the globe right now are relying heavily on online shopping, and the recovery for each category would be really varied, and it depends on geography to geography. While in our experience of working with thousands of Indian cross-border sellers, while many merchants are right now challenged to survive in the short term, the crisis has also presented an opportunity for bold merchants to invest ambitiously and timely in their online business. So, some important new trends right now of what we have seen a lot of sellers diversifying out of their home market. So, if somebody is selling only in the US right now, or only in the only in the UK, wants to aggressively diversify into, say, for example, selling on Amazon.ae, Amazon Singapore, or Amazon Australia, or Amazon Japan. So they want to go to newer markets which are slightly less affected by COVID right now, and they want to diversify their entire e-commerce business, their marketplace e-commerce business. Sellers who are selling their own brands, which is basically a private label brand. For example, somebody selling a cosmetic brand on Amazon.com, very successful, doing a few $10,000, right now wants to diversify on Shopify and build their own web store. Maybe they already have their web store, but now they want to aggressively start, and they are like that we want to invest in marketing, we want to do SEO. All of a sudden, in last 1 year, they have now become aggressively active into building and diversifying. So, in a very local, anecdotal experience from e-commerce seller is, I want to do everything there is online right now. I don't want to just be on one single platform, is what I have personally working with brands from India who sell globally. Third thing of what we have seen, and I think that has been a common interaction with Shiprocket as well, sellers want to upgrade their fulfillment platform. They want to not just depend on one fulfillment partner, but basically want to take use of tech which companies like Shiprocket provide, which helps them be on top of logistics. They want to look at local warehousing. They don't just want to depend on FBA in the US or any other local geography, is one important trend. For sellers, I think the ones who are the most affected, I would rate them as medium and highly impacted, which are like sellers who sell in the fashion or in the travel category, where the sales have taken a dip. All these, a lot of these merchants are diversifying into different categories right now. But since people already have the infrastructure, have understanding of e-commerce marketplaces, they're trying to diversify aggressively into other marketplaces and also diversify their category into a subcategory. Say, for example, a travel.
It would be safe. It would be safe to kind of assume that if you're, as a merchant, you're standing still today, following the same strategy that you were in Jan and Feb, then you'll definitely be left behind. So it kind of diversify your demand channels, right? That is the need of the hour. Understood. All right. Thanks, Kavish. In the interest of time, I'll move ahead to the next question. So my next question is to Ashish. Now, Ashish, there's a whole movement around Atmanirbhar on social media, right? And creating an online store is the first step towards building an e-commerce business. We've talked at length. Almost all our panelists have talked about it. How do you think website builders like Zoho Commerce have changed the way people are looking at going e-commerce in general?
Right. So to your question, I think what has changed is the capability to take action. And that's the core of your that's what I would like to tackle here. So but you're right, let's take a step back. The capability is never the first step, right? The first step is always when a merchant or a creator actually decides to take that step, feel inspired, and takes that first step and says that, all right, I'm motivated enough and I'm going to try something on my own, right? And that's the crucial boundary you're crossing mentally, right, before you actually go ahead. And so now technology has solved this problem, right? What you can do that now, but mentally, when merchants are thinking of crossing that barrier, that is where the whole Atmanirbhar thing actually brings a push, in my opinion, right? So now that whole phenomena, or this whole social push, as you mentioned, is going to sort of make people believe that they can come out and do this, and personally, I am hoping that as Kavish answered in his previous question, I'm hoping that someday Kavish starts saying Zoho Commerce and not Shopify. So that's my personal ambition.
Yeah.
But the idea is, I think that movement where people will actually begin to believe that they can actually go ahead and do this is what
Right.
this will bring. Yeah.
Yeah. So Zoho helps those who help themselves, right? Put it in a nutshell. Okay. Moving on to Vinay. So very briefly, Vinay, if you could, so your brand Ecom Gurukul comprises online classes that help aspiring entrepreneurs to launch and run their own online business. Would you care to share some use cases of merchants you've reached currently helping to sail through these tough times of the COVID pandemic?
Sure. I'm actually now working with one of the sellers who is in the marketplace. Ecom Gurukul has not been launched yet, so it's a more one-to-one this thing.
Yeah.
So he's dealing in medical equipments. I'm actually just helping him move from a product-centric approach to the customer-centric. I was saying that I'm actually helping him move from product-centric approach to customer-centric approach, specifically in giving guidance and tools for product and keyword research. Helping him realize the importance of actually having images that actually tell a story, and then helping him create the listing that answers customers' questions. And then he's dealing in a very crowded kind of a category right now. So also helping him actually doing differentiation through bundles and variants, and then specifically running profitable campaigns by actually focusing on keywords with low competition. Some of these tweaks have actually helped in getting 50% growth in the conversion in last 1 month. The next step is basically in terms of actually he's just a marketplace seller right now, increasing his presence in the other domains also, in terms of being present on social, Google search, and also creating his own store. Couple of more cases where I'm actually working with some niche stores expand their product portfolio through the print on demand strategy. And there are some young startups who are just starting their own stores, helping them setting their own stores and building the processes, in terms of very minute things like how you should actually have your SKU code, such that when you scale, people can really actually just by looking at that can know what a product is. So these are some of the cases which are there.
Understood. So basically, hand-holding sellers across listing, really preempting what a customer might ask in terms of questions could be part of listings, and obviously your in terms of images, like we couldn't stress it more on the front end of how your product looks, right? Understood.
I'm
Thanks,
deliberately
Vinay.
working with sellers one-to-one right now so that I can get inputs to create meaningful content for Ecom Guru.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks, Vinay. My next question is for Ankaro Rohan. So Rohan is empowering. Ankaro is empowering a new generation of online entrepreneurs, right? I am more keen to understand, especially how two types of sellers can benefit from this product, right? In terms of generating an alternate stream of revenue. A social seller who's selling on a WhatsApp, reseller like you mentioned. B, a website owner in general.
So, I want to take a second and just talk a little bit about how big social selling has become.
Yeah.
The trend of social selling started maybe about 2.5 years back. There's some, very well-known marquee names. I think Meesho comes to mind as the first sort of pioneer of this concept in India, right?
Yeah.
And when we sort of saw the trend, where a lot of social selling, social commerce was happening, the question that we were asking ourselves, so in fact, a lot of our e-commerce partners were asking ourselves, is there a way that you guys can participate, right? And that is where Earnkaro was born. Now we've been about a year, right? And the power of social selling, it is a word of mouth, right? It is somebody that you know who's selling a product to you. So suddenly a lot of the doubts and questions vanish. And today in India, with a lot of people, perhaps a little worried about income, money source, there is this huge demand of people coming in saying that, look, is there another way that I can earn money?
Right?
Correct. And that is where you have these like possibly millions of people, right, from housewives to Facebook groups to Telegram channels to WhatsApp channels, who are ready to help promote products, right, as a way to earn money.
Yeah.
Right. So it's this massive distributed workforce that is available to India. Now, the way I feel, if you're currently running, if you're already a reseller, whether you have a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group, I think you've already done the hard work, right? I think the hard work is to create a distribution circle. And if that hard work is done, now you kind of want to figure out how do I maximize, right? So let's say if you're right, so let's say so there may be a lot of people who are currently selling fashion, but if you think about it, markets change, right? So after a point, let's say you're reaching a network of, let's say, 5,000 people, and you've told people about a lot of these amazing fashion products. Now, once you buy, let's say you bought for the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, what do you do next, right? How do you kind of engage with the same audience again? Because they're not going to buy fashion again, right? So even if it's a great product, great discount, they're not buying that same product again. But you see, all of us are consumers, right? So we're not just buying fashion, we're also buying medicine, right? So if you think about the changing trends that all of us are talking about, it is about a lot more digitization happening, people going online. So can the reseller then say, hey, you know what, how do I sell medicine? How do I sell sanitizers? How do I make money doing everything that people are wanting or where the demand might be, right? And it's a very opportunistic play, right? So, in April, May, we saw this massive demand and jump for online digital courses, right? So guys like Udemy and others just saw this massive demand. Now, how could the reseller participate in that? And I think that is where a platform like Earnkaro allows you to say, hey, you know what? Here is a single platform where you get access to sell anything that you want. So that is, I think, where a reseller comes in. If you are today running an e-com play, I think there are 3 ways that we may be able to help and add value. And this is speaking more on the Cashkaro Earnkaro combo. One, obviously, if you list with us, you get access to the distribution network. The second area is, if you're, let's say, a fashion e-com or you could actually say that, look, how do I expand my inventory, right? So you may be selling, let's say, kurtis, but you may have a lot of people coming to you and saying, hey, you know what, can I also get lehengas, and can I also get, a bunch of other things? Can I get shoes? Can I get earrings? So you could actually
increase the depth of your catalog.
Exactly, right? So you could increase the depth of your catalog using what we have. The third way, and this is something that came up when I was talking to one of my e-com partners, and what they were saying is, if you go back and remember the free charge model, right? The whole idea was you come do a recharge and you get coupons. right? So if you do a 500 ka recharge, you get 500 worth coupons.
Correct.
You can actually use that same strategy, because today we are sitting on coupons across the board. So you could be a e-com company saying, hey, you know what, buy this product and you can now get the same value of coupons, and we can provide those coupons to you. Right now, obviously, everyone in the ecosystem starts to benefit, because we will source coupons out of, let's say, and obviously it could be a retailer that's non-competitive, right? So it could be a Udemy, right? And that we could get you
so Rohan, if I kind of summarize, sorry, in the interest of time, I have to kind of cut you there. So my two key takeaways from here are it helps you kind of increase your catalog depth. B, the current user base that I have, I can encash that using this distribution model, right? Thank you so much for the insight there. Okay, so I want to end the panel discussion with one last question pointed to Gautam. So Gautam, we have already talked about the current situation, right, and the preparedness of the seller today. Let's also talk about the future. We know that the pandemic, unfortunately, is here to stay, and in the short term at least. How do you see the landscape of e-commerce retail evolving in general?
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. Okay. I think time is changing. We all wanted this to end by July, and that was what we were thinking when we were in the month of May. We wanted that, but no, I think it's going to extend. I think we're looking at another 3-4 months at least, right? Cases are rising, so this is a reality, which is a bigger reality now, and every day you understand this is not going away for some time, and you want it to go away. I also wanted to go away, but I think it's going to be there. And we have this panel is fantastic, right? You have somebody. There are 4 pillars of e-commerce. There's having a catalog. Catalog means website also. Then you need payments, you need marketing, and then you need logistics. I think those 4 areas are covered between all the panelists that are over here. That is the best part. So everybody has spoken about each one of these important things that their platforms can do. I think I think what is required today from sellers is that go ahead and adopt them. There's so much help available already. There's so much information already available. Now it's the time to consume all of that, because now it's the time that you want to change, because you want to be successful. Retailers are suffering, right? Even Delhi, you have malls open, but nobody's going to those malls anymore, right? And they will not go. You will have to have all your business, all your efforts being delivered onto different platforms to get the customer onto your website, and people are okay doing it, right? People are okay paying line, and you have COD, you have everything. Customer behavior is going to change. There's no doubt now. It's going to change. It's almost changing, right? You'll stop ordering, stop going to shops to buy grocery. You will come back to Zomato and Swiggy to buy your grocery. So I think it's just right now, it's very important to adopt everything. Retailers, sellers, small sellers, offline businesses, all businesses that are offline can go online. All the tools are available in India. You have some of the best companies in India who can support you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think there's no better way to summarize the need of the hour here. Thanks, Gautam. Let us now very quickly move towards the latter part of the day 2, where we are going into a live chat with our e-commerce expert, Divas. Hi, Divas. Divas let me just give a quick introduction. Divas is a marketing professional with over 8 years of experience in e-commerce management, product management, and warehouse supply chain management. He has worked as an e-commerce retailer for products in 15+ categories, including fashion industry, skincare, cosmetics, and other consumer products. He has successfully handled social media marketing for various e-commerce projects and other sectors. So there's digital advertising for e-commerce, providing almost 10 to 12x returns on it. Wow, that's awesome. All right. So Divas, why don't you help our audience, share some of these tips and tricks around what is needed today, right? Over to you.
Yeah. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Divas Khana. I'm co-founder of DigiCell, And today I'm going to talk about how you can grow your business, your online business post-COVID situation. So there are various key takeaways which you will get from this session is like the various key takeaways which you will get from this session is like what are the various e-commerce model, how you can sell your product online, what are the various ways to advertise your product, choosing the right advertising platform, what are the most cost-effective marketing techniques you can have, and what is the change in customer behavior post-lockdown situation, and then last, why this is the right time to start your online or grow your online business. Starting with what are the various models and what are the various types, how you can sell your product online. So starting with this one marketplace model, which is known as like many marketplaces where you can sell your products. There are some generic marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart. There are some category specific marketplaces like Myntra, Big Basket, Grofers, where you can sell your products. But there are some pros and cons of each platform. So if you're selling on a marketplace, then you have to play by their rules. How so you have to sell according to their rules. You have to market according to their rules, and shipping and returns all you have to play by their rules. Second come is social selling. Social selling is the platform where you are selling your products on various social media platforms, such as Facebook Shop, Instagram Shop, and now there's some WhatsApp Shop also. You can sell your products. You can start your shop on a social media, on your social media page, on your Facebook page. You can list your product and you can reach out to new customers. But then there is some hassle in this, like there's a hassle that customer experience is not that good in social selling, where because in this case most of the customers don't know how to reach out to your product, how to make a purchase, what are your policies, what are your return policies, how to make a payment. So then the last one comes is your own website or an app where you can have a shop-like experience to your users anywhere, anytime, where you can show them your products, your most selling products, your top rated products, what are your policies. You can have different payment models. You can have a COD or a prepaid model, and then you can create a good customer base, a customer experience for your users. So coming up, after you set up your store, your website or a social store, you have to then do some advertising to reach out to new customers, or new users. So talking about different ways or different platforms to advertise, this is a advertising e-commerce ecosystem. So where we have different kind of people. So there are people who are searching for your product. There are people who buy your product impulsively, or there are other platforms to advertise. So if you have a product which a person is looking for, if a person is searching for your product or your category, then the platform is Google search engines or Amazon search ads. If you want to show your product to a customer and to make user to make a purchase impulsively, then there are platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat. And then there are some other platforms where you can advertise your product. Like you can influence your user to make a purchase by hiring some influencers, or you can provide some offers and some discounts using some affiliate programs. So this is how there are various platforms where you can advertise your product. Now the questions come is how to choose the right platform. So whether to go with a search ad or to go with a social media ad to hire an influencer, then the confusion arises how to choose the right platform. So first is on the basis of need. So if your product is like on the basis of need, or if your product is fulfilling someone needs, for example, grocery, or it can be, yeah, sorry. it can be groceries, or it can be auto parts, or it can be components, gadgets, anything. These are the products that people are looking for. So then you have to choose a search ad or an Amazon search ad, which are totally based on keywords and tags of what a user is searching for. Then there comes a set of users who make a purchase based on their behavior. So if you take an example, if you're selling a home decor or a clothing product or a cosmetic product, so what you can choose is you can choose a social media platform. You can advertise your product over there, and then a user who is scrolling to their social media, scrolling to their Instagram, can see your product, can see, for example, a wall decor, and then they might create a need for that. Once they create a need, then they push to make a purchase for your product. Then the third, which comes is on the basis of demographics and geographics. So there are some users you can target on the basis of their gender, on the basis of their interest, the basis of their age. And for this targeting, we suggest most effective is the influencer marketing, where we talk about an example. So if a woman or a woman is who is interested in cosmetics and makeup, and is looking for a makeup artist Instagram page. So she might be wondering what product she's using, what are the benefits of that product, and might get influenced to buy the particular product. So this is how you can choose the right platform to advertise your product when you are selecting advertising. Once you are done with the paid campaign models, when you have set up your paid campaign models, there are some other marketing techniques which are known as organic marketing, which can help you to market your product in a cost-effective way. So here I'm showing a graphical representation of one of our clients who is dealing in makeup and cosmetic products. And we have seen majority of their users are coming from paid campaign, but there's a large chunk of users who are coming from organic ways, such as social media, such as direct marketing, email and content marketing, and last is ORM. We have seen 22% of their users are coming from social media. How you can use the right social media strategy, how you can optimize your organic ranking, how to create a or online reputation by handling your users' queries, and what are the ways to have effective email marketing. So I've shown some screenshots of how you can have effective social media marketing, where one of the example is like what we prefer is to have a CTA in each and every post. So if you are posting about a product or a features of a product, then always write a CTA for that particular product, which will be redirected to the product page. Then if you are doing an email marketing, there are many techniques to have an effective email marketing, of which some are like you should always have a urgency by writing the period of the offer, and you should make your email simple and clear. And then here comes a CTA, which allows the users to shop through your website or the product page. Then there come online reputation management. So which is to create your reputation of your brand, of your product in the online space by handling users' query, by connecting with the users through whatever they're commenting, or even if they are giving you a positive feedback or a negative feedback, always do connect with them, try to solve their problem, appreciate them to giving the positive feedback. This create a sense of trust among the users for your brand, that there is someone whom they can talk to, whom is listening to them. Then in order to get traffic on your website, we have seen that 14% of their traffic comes from direct searches. And direct searches is example of home decor. Like if someone is looking for home decor online or wall decor online, then your product, your brand, or your product page is ranking there, then you will get a large amount of traffic to these sources. This after that, now in the post-COVID or the post-lockdown situation, we have seen some changes in the customer behavior towards the ad and the performance of the social ads. So this is the data of one of our client who is dealing in home decor products, and we have seen that there's a the decline of drastic change in the CPM, that is cost per thousand impression, and there is a drastic increase in ROAS, that is return on ad spend. So as you can see, post pre-COVID, in the first week of March or the second week of March, the third week of March, when there was situations when the COVID was on a rising stage, but there was no lockdown. People were busy in their daily routine and everything. At that time, the cost per thousand impression which we got was 180, 148, and then slowly it started to decline after the lockdown was there. On 22nd of March, after that, we have seen a drastic change. Then there was in the month of April, there was no sale. We have paused the campaigns. Then after the lockdown was over, or lockdown was for e-commerce, it was lifted on 17th of May. We have seen that when we were running our ads, the cost of 1,000 impressions were very low. That was around 47 rupees, 52 rupees per 1,000 impressions, and the drastic increase in cost return on ad spend. As previously we were getting 3 to 5x return on an ad spend. Now what we are getting is 10, 11, 9x return on the same ad spend. So clearly we have seen that there's a change in pre-lockdown and the post-lockdown situation, as the advertising cost is higher in pre-lockdown side, and the return on investment was lower. Now, in the post-lockdown, we have seen that there are low advertising costs, there's a wider audience to reach, better return on investment. That's why we feel that this situation of post-COVID or post-lockdown is the right time, or we can say opportunity in disguise, to scale or grow your e-commerce business. So as we have seen some change in the market, that's why we think that it's the right time to start your e-commerce business. As for the local business, the reach, you can reach to a wider audience, reach to a targeted audience on a wider scale. As I have said, that the cost of advertisement is quite low, and the reach for that particular spend is higher as compared to the pre-lockdown state. Then if we talk about target audience, yes, if you are going online, if you're growing your business online, you can target a new set of audience, and you can acquire a new set of customers. And as we have seen some experience that now people are opting for contactless delivery. The contactless delivery is now on a rise, which is encouraging users to make a purchase and having a prepaid payment, which somehow reduces the RTOs of your order, reduces the returns, and give you better sales as compared to COD order. And as we have seen for some local businesses, for local shops, now people are looking for hyper local deliveries. So people are not willing to step out their home and go to make a purchase for some groceries or anything else. So small businesses are opting for hyper local deliveries, where they can cater to the audience within a certain kilometer from their shop, using an online channel or a social shop or a website. They can have an order and they can get it delivered using hyperlocal services. within 2 to 3 hours or same day and probably next day. And as there's a rise in digital payments for offline as well as online stores, that people are now more moving towards online payments. They are making payments to Paytm, through Google Pay, and they want to make purchase based on a digital payment. They don't want to have a contact by giving money or giving currency notes to the vendor and taking back from them. So that is why we think that this situation is the right time to grow or to set up your online business and grow it. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, yeah.
Yeah,
Megha?
thanks, Siva. Thanks for walking us through your presentation. Okay, let me quickly share my screen. There you go. All right, so we are almost at the end of our session. Thank you for being a lovely audience. But before we end, let me first ask you a couple of questions. Firstly, did you face any issues during the session, tech or otherwise? You could answer as no, it was perfect, sound wasn't clear, video wasn't clear, audio and video both weren't clear. Okay, good to know. Most of us had no issues. Great. Okay, one last question that I would like to ask here would be yeah, please share your feedback about today's session. Was it excellent, good, average, not useful? Happy to hear any feedback in the comment section as well. We're always looking to do better. And talking about better, while all of you are voting, let me very quickly walk you through our agenda of our third session, which is tomorrow. It's a keynote speaker session. Everyone, I request you all to please positively attend the session. With us will be Sahil Goyal, CEO and co-founder Shiprocket. Also joining us would be Akshay Gulati, CBO, co-founder Shiprocket. We have Khush Sagar from Partnerships Facebook. Also, Trisha Rajani, COO of one of the famous pharma brands, Dr. Vaidya's. We have Anshuk Agarwal from AdYogi, Naveen Joshua, founder Green Honchos. Great. So good that most of us found it good, the session useful. Wow, really humbled by that. That's it. Thank you so much for being a patient audience. And again, see you all tomorrow.